All right, we're live.
So
Give it a few minutes, let people start rolling in, and then we'll take off.
go for it. Damn, dude. It was raining like a son of a bitch today. It's mad static.
Yeah, I put my phone too close to the box. We'll give it 2 more minutes, and we're gonna get going.
Full show.
What's up?
You on TikTok and all that other crazy shit?
Yeah, we're on 3 pages. We're on my personal, 2 of the flag ones, and then
For sure.
welcome in, everybody who's joining up. Thank you guys for taking time out of your day. We're going to be getting going in a couple minutes here. At 6:10, we're going to start. Welcome. Everybody who's just hopping in.
You. Cracking, everybody. What's cracking?
Hope everybody's enjoying this beautiful Saturday.
Hopefully you're not.
Hopefully your basement's not flooding either.
I know, right? All crazy and shit, bro. Don't even get me started.
Welcome, everybody. Welcome. At 6:10, we are launching. T-minus 1 minute. We are hopping on in.
Let's get it cracking. Yo, I got my phone rigged up so it doesn't fall. I hope, because if it falls, everybody's tumbling with me.
We're along for the ride. That's it.
We're all gonna go down as a team. Can you hear me? Am I good?
You're all set. Everything's good on your end.
I bet.
Everything is perfect. All right, everybody who's in, we appreciate you guys taking time out of your day. The time is now 6:10, and we are going to start the show. Welcome to the Talk to Me Brother podcast, man. Week 3, we have our first professional guest. I would like to introduce Jose Claudio of Funhouse Mass Studios. And I'm extremely excited because this is the first guest on, and the first guest to give me a gift. So I have a.
It's not finished though. It's not finished.
It's not finished, but I do have a one-of-one exclusive from his Sopranos line. I got Paulie Walnut here, so this will go on to my name. This will be a prized possession of mine. So I want to thank him for taking time out of his day. He is busy, and I appreciate him for being here. So, Jose, the floor is yours for a brief introduction of the know who you are, who you value, things like that.
My name's Jose. I'm just a mask maker, horror loving guy. Usual stuff as far as like mask making and special effects. Halloween is every day for me, brother. As far as like what you're doing, I think it's really dope, man. That somebody's actually going out, out of their time and making sure everybody else is good who doesn't have, anybody, vent to or anything like that. Like, man, I appreciate being here, brother.
So, in the past few weeks, Jose has probably been one of our most referenced people, right? So, for me and Jose's relationship is both professional because he's a coworker of mine, and we also have an amazing friendship as well. So, Jose was actually one of the first people to kind of get me to recognize my feelings. He was one of the first people to call me out when things weren't right, when I was acting different. And he's also one of the first people to notice that I was sick. So I want to thank Jose for doing that for me and pushing me to take those steps, because if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't be there. He pushed me weekly, daily, every damn second of the day. He pushed me until I made that jump. So, Jose, you tell me, man, how hard was it making that jump into therapy?
I think especially nowadays, it's frowned upon. Like you're not supposed to talk to anybody or any about anything. You just have to like keep it all in or whatever the case may be. The ultimate bullshit. You know,
Oh, for sure.
and I knew that I was bringing habits into like relationships or tips, and I knew they were really really toxic. And after a couple years, like I realized, like man, it's either I change this or I still continue these same fucking patterns over and over again. And one week I just said, fuck it. I'm just gonna look and see who's out there. And I think I took like 2 or 3 days and really jotted down like who I wanted, you know, as far as my therapist goes and everything. And you'd be surprised, man. Like the person that I went to, I have ADHD, I have ADD, fucking all this other crazy shit. And that's exactly who I went to. Somebody who could understand me. What the fuck's going on in here? And I don't know. For me, bro, like it was probably the best thing I could have ever done, bro. Like hands down, the best thing I could have ever done. I'm a lot more calmer these days. At least that's what I feel like. Um, I take a few steps back or actually say something, depending on the situation. Um, I mean, man, sky's the limit, dude. Really, like I feel. I don't know. You tell me. You literally seen it from start where I'm at now.
And that's kind of been the coolest part, right? And that's what really motivated me, because when I look back at us and our relationship, this time last year, things were a little bit chaotic. Things were a little bit hectic in both our work and personal lives. So when I seen you take those steps to where you finally were like, damn, this is something I can take control of. This is something that I'm in control of. That was kind of motivating to me, because you literally took it by the balls and you ran with it 100%. And you still go weekly and you make it a priority to get there, you know? So
Right.
seeing you that committed to helping yourself and growing, I think that was the biggest change for me in to seeing you daily, because I finally seen something that you were committed to, something that you wanted to do. It wasn't something that felt forced. It wasn't something that felt like you had to do it or had to be there. This is something you went out of your way to do. So for that to see on a personal level, to see that and actually talk to you after some of those sessions, kind of like when we would just call each other and recap and things like that,
Right.
it was extremely motivating to me because it's like,
Dude, you remember that first day how it was for me?
yeah,
Fuck, dude. I think my first session was like at o'clock or some shit, and then I fucking come back into work and I'm like tear eyed, fucking swollen and shit. And you're like, "What happened?" I was like, "She listened,"
she
and we didn't even talk about shit. It was just basically, "My name's Jose. What do you want to talk about?" And then I told her these things, and as I was telling her these things, I was like, just break it down, and I was like, you don't realize how much bullshit and trauma you have inside, so somebody actually hears you.
And that's,
you know what I'm saying? Like, bro, it's I don't know, bro. Like I don't give a fuck what anybody says.
yeah,
I don't care what the left person, the right person, anybody says. As a man, if you feel like you need help, go fucking get it. Fuck what anybody else says, dude. If you got insurance, go do it. Even if you don't, you might have to pay a little bit out of pocket, but fuck them. Get your help.
actually,
Bro.
you don't. There was a few programs that I listed on our first episode where therapy and group sessions with professional counseling was free. So,
oh yeah, you're right.
You don't have insurance, So if you're insured,
but you had that big ass blueprint of things,
Yeah, I gotta have a PDF file that's ready to go, So if anyone listening, or if anyone's ever interested in that PDF file with those resources, you can always DM me directly. If you have my phone number, feel free to text me. And kind of go from there, because I have that just readily available. So here we are. We're about to dive into our first segment. This segment is called Mask Defined. When we, as men, kind of take in our day-to-day lives, we tend to wear many different masks. We tend to mask our emotions. We tend to mask our feelings. We tend to mask a lot of things. So this segment, the Mask Defined, I want to just get into something, right? Because some of the things that I do, one of the many masks that I wear is humor. Humor for me is the first mask that I go to. It's the first thing I put on. Whenever I'm sad, whenever I'm down, whenever the day's just not going how I want to, I kind of go to humor. And sometimes that humor could be misinterpreted for good, misinterpreted for bad, But when you deflect that pain for so long, and you deflect these things for so long, you tend to get aggressive. Your aggression tends to cover your insecurities, which leads to withdrawal and kind of an overworking to mask who you truly are. So, Jose, I guess my question to you was, what does the mask look like in your own life? What's that mask you go to that you put on?
Anymore. What you see is what you get, dude. It's as simple as that. I'm not here to please the crowd.
For sure.
I'm here to please, myself. That's it. I'm here to make sure what I have to do is the right thing. I'm not here to make sure what I do is gonna make that person happy anymore. You know what I'm saying? So
advocate,
like
more like self-advocation and things like that.
For sure, dude. For sure. I mean, I don't have kids or anything like that, so I guess I could be this way. So, I mean, as far as that goes, I don't wear any masks. Before, I was that kid who was trying to keep up with the fucking trends and shit, but I was a big metalhead. I fucking loved heavy metal. You couldn't get me into it. But, growing up, you grow up in the whole Homo Park area, you're Jay-Z. I love Jay-Z still, and Lloyd Banks and shit like that, but like my go-to was like always like Slipknot, Slayer, Black Sabbath, bands in general. So I don't know, dude. Like I would just hide that side of me most of the time. We're talking about like wearing a mask, like I was trying to keep up with the trends back in the days, when I was a kid or whatever the fuck. But now, hell no, nope.
So you touched on it, right? Humboldt Park. It's a very common area for me. We both grew up there. That's where we're both from. That's where
we born this baby.
That's where we both spent the majority of our life, right?
For sure.
And we grew up in a time where it wasn't so modern. It was still park gang banging, hustling, people still on corners, people still doing their thing. when was the first time that you noticed, and when did you first learn that men weren't supposed to show certain emotions?
The man first time, I think as a shorty for sure, because you would get your ass whipped saying what the fuck for.
Yeah,
That had to be like the first time. Like after you do something bad, you get your ass whipped, and then they're like, "Why the fuck you crying?" You're like, "Dog, you just hit me." Like, you know what I'm saying? It's one of those things. The fuck you want me to do? Not cry, you know? Or even like I hate to bring like I hate to be like all morbid and shit. Or even at funerals, none of the guys are always crying, you know. But then there's always like that one person, and you just see them, you know, like bawling and shit. You're just like, how come nobody else is feeling like he's feeling?
how come nobody is as comfortable to show those kind of emotions and things, you know?
Yeah, you know, just shit like that.
So I guess I look back at my time very similar as well, right? My whole family is from the area. You know, my
Right.
family born and raised Hubble Park. No matter what, they rotated in the area. They always stood in that specific area. So when I look at it, you know, I see, just looking back at like the male figures I had, the male figures in my life were active in gangs. They were actively in the streets. You know, they were actively gone for days at a time. You know, so I touched
For
on
sure.
that. You know, and that's from uncles, fathers to any basically any male figure I had in my life from the
Right.
up until now. You know, luckily a lot of my uncles and things like that moved on from that life, and they're kind of away from it now. But looking back, it was kind of like this bravado stigma. You know, this you had to be a tough guy. You had to fight. You had to hustle. You had to do those things to be a man at that time. You know, you couldn't cry on the block. You couldn't cry outside and cry around people. You know, it's like, damn, at what point could I show my emotions? You know, and then you grow up as an adult, you take those things with you. You know, because now you're now telling the people in your life like, hey, like, don't cry. You know, keep it
Yeah.
away. You know, you can't cry in front of people. You're not supposed to show those kind of emotions in front of people. You know, so that was my experience. You know, that's kind of how I remember the park, and I remember the people that I grew up with. I mean, did you have a similar experience?
Yeah, for sure, I can say that because I grew up with like I didn't grow up in a very like got into a house. You know what I'm saying? Like it was loving, but it was tough.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? Like even like I said, even if you got your ass whooped, why are you crying? So even the male figures for me, they were doing the same shit like you know the male figures you were saying. You
yeah.
know. So I mean like I can't, man, dog. It's the same shit. It's the same shit. It's the same thing, no matter what, bro. When it comes like that, like I'm pretty sure like, about there's a good amount of men that grew up the exact same way. I mean,
And
yeah,
that's kind of the median. You know, that's like kind of the common ground, right?
that's the safe ground.
Yeah, yeah. You know, where it's like we're constantly teaching the men to be secure, to hold that dominant position, right? To kind of,
Right.
hey, like, don't let another man talk down to you. Don't let another person talk down to you. You know, defend yourself. Be macho. Be bravado. You know, be that tough guy. You know, do you think that that's the correct message to instill in this like next generation?
Fuck no. But I mean, social media fucked that up anyway, so it doesn't matter. It's not. Of course, it's not. I think everybody, everybody wants to be the tough guy until they get hit.
For sure.
That's it. That's all it is. And then one hit, like that's it. Like it's it. You're done. You're back to reality. Like oh shit, this is real life. You know, or God forbid, you know, they go to the other solution, and the other person's a sore loser. You know how that goes.
Exactly. You know. So I guess that leads me like to the next point, right? When when we're told to as children to man up, when we're told as children to kind of taught to be a certain way, do you feel that like added to that mask, like added to that persona you put on in your everyday life?
For sure. For sure, because you don't want to get punked out. Like if you're with your friends or anything like that, you don't want to get punked out. You want to seem like you can hold your own ground, even if the guys weren't around. Like just shit like that, dude. Like it's you're wearing that bullshit mask again. Like you just like you're holding a persona. Like it's yeah, dude, for real, for sure.
So, was there anything like growing up or even now that you felt you weren't allowed to express out loud? Like whether emotion or whether something you were going through or just in general. It could even be like your therapy journey as well.
As a kid, I was very vocal, very vocal. I think that's why I got my ass whooped a lot by my parents. I think that's 100% why I got my ass whooped. If I didn't like it, I'm gonna say it. Like one thing about people with ADHD and ADD, like we're gonna say it regardless. We're gonna shoot it out no matter what. And I think as I got older, I think then I started taking it down and not saying shit at all because you start to learn that whole self control, that whole I don't want to make me look crazy or anything like that. You start learning those little tricks. But then after dealing with that for so long, you isolate yourself, and then you don't want to talk about anything anymore. You know what I'm saying? So it's like it's a double-edged sword at the end of the day.
So
And
that leads me into my next question, right? I guess that was like a double entendre almost. What's that one thing you felt you always wanted to say out loud, but you never could?
fuck, dude, I don't know. We're gonna have to get back to this one.
That's a tough question.
That one thing I always wanted to say that I didn't say. Fuck, dude. Like, which direction are we going with that?
And again, that it's open for your interpretation, right? So while we're on the topic of covering up and masking feelings, you can either take it.
You know what? But I'll tell you, yeah, for sure. So it was the day before I was leaving to Rhode Island. I saw my grandmother, right? I saw my grandmother. Something told me to tell me here, right? She had like cancer and shit, and it shit happens, dude, right? Like I don't mean to be all cold hearted about it, but cancer sucks. But that's another story. Yeah. So like I end up going to see my grandmother right to Rhode Island, and I'm chilling with her, right? Mind you, this is the lady that kicked me out of her house when I was listening to Slayer one day. She's a very church going lady, which is funny as fuck. That's a whole other story. So, so I'm chilling with her. We're chopping it up, and in my head, over and over and over and over, I'm like, take a picture with her. Take a picture with her. I'm having this conversation with myself, like, nah, shit. When I come back, I'm only going for like 5 days, 6 days. Should be cool, bro. I had that conversation in my head for like 10 minutes, right? And then when I do that stupid pose where people go like this, that dumb shit. And dude, I just stopped, right? And I was in denial. And then I just left.
Never took a picture.
2 days later, I get a phone call. She passed. I was like, no fucking way, bro. Like that's a moment that I wish I could go back to for sure. Just take that one picture.
You kind of just express that love and express that.
Yeah, I didn't even I know for a fact I didn't even tell her like I love her and I hate her because that's how in denial I was of just the whole situation. So yeah, that one for sure, dude. For sure.
So for me, right, kind of piggyback on that was growing up in my household. There wasn't a lot of times where "I love you" was expressed. There wasn't a lot of there wasn't a lot of "Hey, I love you," "See you later," "I love you." You know, even now, you know, when I'm on the phone with my mom or I'm on the phone with a loved one, it's kind of like, hey, you just hang up, you know.
Sure. I know what you're saying.
Yeah. So for me, something that I always wanted to express because I felt that that's wrong. You know, like I always felt that when you're not ending a conversation, especially with like a significant person in your life, like a mother, a
I'm gonna start telling you I love you before we get off the phone.
like when you're not telling the people around you, like, you know, a brother, a mother, a sister, a cousin, that you love them, you know, because it's in your story hit home because it's like, hey, within 2 days, a woman you thought was going to be there when you got back was no longer there, you know.
For sure.
Or even as a child, you know, I remember leaving the house or coming home, you know, and I love you wasn't something that was told, you know. And bit off topic is like, hey, that goes on to it, you know, because then now you carry that with you too. It's like one of those another generational thing where it becomes almost normal to, you know. So it's like
I think it ended with us though. I think it ended with us because, like, I don't mean to call, but like, you got kids. Do your parents be like, "I love you" to your kids?
every fucking time.
It cut off with us, dude. It cut the fuck off with us. Trust me. Like that whole. Once you start, or once the younger kids start rolling in, you're gonna see it on the phone. I love you. I miss you. All that good shit. Us, fuck that.
And they let us just go through it, man. So
Fuck it though.
to jump back in, right, on the topic of the mask, when we talk about this mask, right, we're talking about things that men use to mask their feelings. You know, men's use to hide those real feelings, right? So again, for me, it was humor. You know, some of the most common ones, you know, after I did some research were humor, silence, overworking, and aggression. You know, those are some very common masks. You know, people feel sad and kind of throw themselves into their work. You know, people feel sad and they take it out by being aggressive to someone else. You know, people feel sad and they isolate themselves. People feel sad and they make fun of or crack jokes or try to become the center of attention to kind of change their mood. So it's like we carry those things with us daily, not realizing that we're masking feelings that it's okay to show, that we're masking feelings that it's okay to have. We're masking feelings and we're creating this ticking time bomb inside of ourselves, you know, because you're hiding so much. It's like how much could your mind, your mental, your soul, your everything, how much could that truly take, you know? So when I ask you the question, like, you know, what kind of what does the mask look like in your own life? That's kind of what I'm getting at, right? Like now you find yourself more outspoken. Now you find yourself more firm with self advocation, and you find yourself more firm in just your everyday life. You know,
I mean, you tell me, dude. Like you, like since going to therapy, like you should. I feel like there was a switch. Like you're always gonna be 100% honest with me, dude. You see me more than anybody else, so
no,
you tell me.
100%. You know, and I thought that was huge for you, right? Because like I remember the conversations post therapy where me and you would chop it up, like, man, I just got such and such going on, and I'm not really like sure how to deal with this shit, you know? And even vice versa, like I would have those conversations with you know, and it wasn't until you got your therapist that you were like, kind of like, hey, I'm dealing with this shit, you know? Like I got like productive ways to deal with my feelings, you know? And something I remember you saying was, I'm only going to take into account for things that I could control now, you know, realizing what you could
Sure.
and what you can't control. Would you say that that was like a turning point for you when you kind of stopped paying attention to things that were out of your hands?
I forgot where the fuck I heard that from. I don't know. I heard it somewhere, and it just clicked. It clicked. It stuck. And man, where the fuck did I hear that shit? I don't remember, but dude, like for whatever reason, it was like night and day for me. And again, dude, that was probably the best decision I've ever fucking made besides making Mash. That's as close it is to me. Like I fucking love. She's the best person ever. She can never do no wrong in my eyes. Like, bro, she's the best. I don't care, bro. I don't give a fuck. I don't care. I don't care. She's awesome. If you're a dude looking to go to therapist, too.
Yeah, man, make that jump. You know,
Fucking make that jump, dude. Like I've never smiled like, but fuck, bro. She lit a firecracker up my ass, bro. She's the shit. She rules.
all right. Let's go back to the topic here, right? So we're kind of be jumping into the second segment here, right?
Only on part one. I need my glasses. I fucking bring them.
We'll read it all out. All right. Segment 2 is when it breaks. You know, when that mask you put on every day finally gives out. You know, when that mask that you put on daily is no longer able to hold in everything that you're trying to hold or hide from the world around you. Right? So when, as men, right, we're taught the stigma since children to be a certain way, to carry yourself a certain way, hold yourself a certain way, you know, and those stigmas are definitely far from positive, you know. So when you're holding in that much raw emotion and you're holding in that much raw, you know, even at times anger, frustration, sadness, you know, once that finally breaks, you begin to take out those things that you're once hiding on the people around you. You know, you start putting that stuff out into relationships, friendships, your own personal mental health, and you kind of begin to just burn out, you know?
Fuck yeah, you do.
So again, I ask you, what is, in your opinion, the cost of wearing a mask for too long? The cost of masking those kind of emotions for such a long period of time? Because some people go their whole life.
Well, for me, dude, like if I was dating somebody, then that person I was dating kind of felt it. I would just lash out for the smallest things. I'd lose my cool. Um, anybody close in my circle would just be an instant asshole to them. It's kind of like one of those things where I don't burn the bridge while I'm on it. I blow it up, type of thing. And it's like, dude, you just get tired of being that person. And what ends up well for me, why I got like that or why I would get like that was simply because you start getting overwhelmed with things. You start getting overwhelmed with like whatever you do at work or project wise or just life in general. You just start keeping all that shit, and then one day, like it could be the smallest thing, dude, where it's like, oh, you forget that bag of chips you wanted or something. It could be the dumbest shit ever, and who's ever near you is they're gonna feel it. So I mean, like just holding that shit in sucks, man. Like it sucks, dude. It's not good, man. It's not healthy.
Do you remember like a specific moment where you can say that mask kind of fell off, right? Like you were either in the middle of somebody in something, talking to somebody, interacting with somebody, and that mask kind of just gave out. You know, you slipped up and you did something that is not a normal for you to do. How did those people react?
Mm, So we were all in a car one day, and I don't know where the fuck we were going, wherever the hell. I was already pissed off. I was already like just mad. And somebody had said something like oh well, you should do it this way, and then for whatever reason I just blew up and said maybe that might have fucking worked for you, and I just went on a complete like 30-minute or rant or whatever the fuck. Like, dude, like that's like so out of my character. Like it was so bad to the point where it's like everybody stood quiet, and then when we got to the destination, like everybody took away from me. You know?
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Like I didn't burn the bridge while I was on it. I fucked it up.
But how did that affect you?
Like I felt like shit afterwards. Like I was like, dude, I should have just took a couple steps back and really like thought about it. Like that's always been an issue of mine. You know, like just never like taking a few steps back and like really thinking. I'm the type of person that would just first thing no matter what the fuck it was. Like, dude, it's weird, man.
I was looking at some of the comments here.
Go for it. Hey, your mic's making that weird ass noise again.
I know I got too close to the thing. I'm trying to fix it.
I can't read no comments, so my bad.
No, you're all good. I have them on. So, but like, okay, so you touched on it, right? It's kind of like that regret, you know, that those feelings now. That second round of feelings, you know, but you just like switch out. Now you're waiting.
I can barely hear you, bro.
How about now?
Better.
Okay. What the hell's going on? All right. So you touched on it, right? Like where you're kind of now you're living with that second round of feelings, right? You're kind of taking it in, and you're kind of like, damn, I have that regret, have that. Now you're stuck trying to deal with those feelings in isolation. Now you know.
Yeah.
You've kind of blown up on people, and now you kind of just left yourself with the whole load to deal with. You know, I mean,
right.
How do you deal with those kind of things? You feel like, damn, I'm doing mistakes. How do you break that down to kind of ease your mind?
Like back then.
Like then, now.
Back then, I let it be what I let it be, like whatever. There was no, because I didn't have nothing to teach me how to like fix those problems. I had nothing. I was just going off of myself, my own experience. I wasn't asking anybody like, do you feel this way? I was just on that certain mask, like just my day. But I mean, but now, what do I tell you? I'm gonna take a few steps back. I'm just gonna think.
And that's big, man. That's big for you to recognize, like, hey, instead of me blowing it up at this moment.
Or if not, what do? I'm just wait. That's what I do, right? Throw the hands in the air. I'm just gonna walk away, bro. That's it. This ain't for me.
Yeah, we had some technical difficulties. So hopefully now the mics are working a bit better. Sorry about that. Hopefully the mics are back on. We're kind of just dealing with it as it's happening. So if we experience any more, just let me know.
Yeah, your mic's like chopping in and out.
Let me see if I can just reset it real quick.
I keep missing, bro. Every time I go to shoot this shit. Oh, fuck. I mean, you can ask me something so when the mic doesn't work, right? My bad, I forgot. I hope everybody's having a good day. It's a little gloomy outside. It's raining. A couple floods, depending on what type of area you're in. Chicago could be on the west side, south side, north side. For your own good, just safety, just stay inside. You want to barbecue, make sure you barbecue inside your crib. If you want,
You hear me now?
so we good. We back. All right, so I got you.
Thank you for holding it down, man.
Shit, dude.
Appreciate you, brother. Thank you for holding it down. Stop tapping the little ball on the table. It makes the echo.
What
I
happened?
said, stop tapping the little ball on the table. You're making the echo.
My bad.
I want to apologize for the technical difficulties. We're far from professional, so I appreciate you guys coming in and being patient with us, right?
For sure. Yeah. Shout out to y'all.
And thank you to Jose for working on the fly and keeping everybody entertained while I was going.
Your mic was like cut off, dog. If I would have known shit, I would have been on point.
All right. So we touched on moments that mask kind of slipped off on. We touched on moments when that mask finally breaks, right? When you're stuck with those feelings and you're kind of isolated, you're kind of on an island, you're kind of by yourself. So at that point, would you equate like that vulnerability you're feeling?
That what? Your mic is like going crazy.
I don't know what's going on. I'm trying to figure this shit out.
It sounds like the Xbox mic and shit. Like when it starts like fucking around, that's what it sounds like.
I don't know what's going on today.
I don't know.
You hear me better?
It could be the weather.
Definitely. How about now? Can you hear me better?
Yeah, you good.
I'm trying to figure this shit out as I go.
I mean, ask the audience. They're the ones that are really important about it,
I turned it down a bit. Hopefully that does the job. So I was saying, like, in the moments where you felt that mask kind of slip and you're dealing with those raw emotions and you're dealing with those feelings by yourself, do you ever feel like that vulnerability in that moment is kind of weakness?
For sure. Fuck yeah. Back then, hell yeah. That's why I would want to be left alone so nobody would see me that vulnerable or anything like that. Because the minute somebody would see me that vulnerable, in my head, I'm like, oh shit, that's it. Like they fucking case may be, they might think I'm weak. They might think something. It all boils up to having that macho bullshit stigma, that you have that you up with. You never want to see yourself, weak or anything like that. That's a free moment when that happens. That's what you think. But in all actuality, even now as men, I think like even me, like now, I don't want people to be vulnerable or anything like that. Still to this day, but because it's not because I don't want to look weak. It's more so like that's for me and my therapist right now. She's the only person that can see me when I'm like that. But then again, I don't carry this whole macho. I'm tough. I could whoop your ass. Like that's not me either. But I completely me and I went off rail. I'm so sorry.
No, you touched on it. You definitely touched on it. You definitely did your best. But yeah, man. Now we're in segment 2, winter breaks, and we kind of touched on the struggles of winter breaks and your mental health when you're kind of going through that alone. You're kind of on that island.
So like I robot again.
I know. I don't know what is going on.
Is it wire? Jack ain't right off. You talking? I mean, obviously I couldn't fucking hear you, so I hear something.
My bad. I'm just trying to reset everything and kind of scratch.
You hear it though, right?
I can hear it on my end too, because like I have it in my ear. So I'm trying to figure it out.
Sounds
Like something's loose.
should have got some wireless headset, bud. I can't get that stupid ass song stuck. I'm your nasty dancer, dance for money. Stupid ass song, bro.
Reset everything.
Oh, you sound good now.
Give me 1 second. I'm just resetting right now, guys.
Of course, you get all these technical difficulties this time. Man, bro, it's crazy.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yo, you all good?
Yes, sir.
All right, perfect. Hopefully fix it, even if it's temporary. But I want to apologize for technical difficulties, kind of circling back on everything, right? So let me just give you guys a brief recap of where we're at and kind of where we're going with this, all right? Okay, so we touched on segment one. Segment one was the mask defined, where we kind of looked at the mask men put on and things like that. And we kind of looked at happening again.
Whatever you want to do, Jack. Whatever you want to do.
I'll try to figure it out. Is it happening still?
Fuck yeah, it is.
Disconnect the earbuds.
Disconnect my earpods? They're not even connected.
No, the box, the little one underneath your phone.
All right, is this?
All right, let's see if that. You hear me?
Yeah.
I think we're good.
Let me just throw you on the AirPods, like I said.
Yeah, that's fine. That works.
How do I turn this shit off, dog?
Just press the button.
Got this big ass thing in my fucking. I didn't mean to throw it. I swear to God, I didn't mean to do it.
Sorry.
How you turn this shit off? What do I do? Hold it? All right, there we go. All right, come on. Can you or no?
Yeah, I'm good. You can hear me?
All right, fuck it. Let's try. Come on, let's do this.
All right, cool. All right, so going back, right? It's me again. I'll get into it.
You want my AirPods?
I don't. Shit. Okay.
Testing.
Still on?
No, it's not on. I thought it was.
Okay. So kind of going back, recapping again.
For sure.
Okay. So segment one about of course the first episode you're on when we have technical difficulties.
Hey, bro, that's just the the type of shit I bring, bro. It wouldn't be. Hey, somebody's at the door.
I think Megan's home. Make sure she doesn't say anything outlandish.
It's your home.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
All right. Better?
I mean,
All right, I'm gonna kind of just brush through this just so we can kind of get away from these damn technical difficulties because we're having a really good show until those kind of hit. All right, so breaking into segment three. Breaking into segment three, right? Segment three is taking that mask off. Now we're kind of touching on tools and resources you could find kind of in your everyday life that you could kind of use to get away from wearing that mask? Kind of things you could do to take away from it and kind of create better habits and better things so that when you find yourself down and you find yourself out, you kind of have a place to go. You have a place where you can feel vulnerable. You have a place where you can kind of say, hey, I need to do better. I need to feel better, and find someone that you could actually talk to, right? So obviously the first thing that I also recommend is finding that professional, right? Because remember, on this podcast, we are professionals. All we can do is offer our opinions and kind of offer our experiences with that and give people around us kind of an outlet, kind of a place to go, kind of give you guys an idea of what we are feeling every day and how we are feeling about it, right? So today, I guess I want to say is today I kind of want to get into the facts, right? One of those tools for me has been therapy, right? Therapy for me has been huge. Um, being able being able to kind of talk to somebody weekly, being able to kind of see somebody weekly, it helps, you know. Um,
For sure.
first time my sessions were bi-weekly. I realized that bi-weekly sessions were not enough for me, and I really needed to see somebody weekly to kind of discuss my feelings and just to discuss what was going on in my everyday life, right? So when I found myself speaking to this person now, I'm going on 6 weeks of therapy. It's kind of
Fuck, really?
yeah. It's been a little bit. I'm on week 6 this upcoming week. So after 5 successful sessions where I'm able to kind of go in, speak freely, find myself actually having somebody to talk to where I don't feel judged and I don't feel ridiculed and I don't feel like I can't be vulnerable, finding that actual person to speak to, I'm not saying that I don't have those people because obviously Jose, you're one of those people that I can speak to freely, but having someone aside from friends, having someone aside from family, having someone aside from people you see in your everyday life, it's a big help. I'm not sure if you feel the same, Jose.
I do. I fucking do. Hell yeah, I do. You know, you got you got your therapist, but then you got that those one or two you can really lock in with. But for me, dude, like there's things that she knows that like just me and her just gonna stay locked in with. That's it. Like it is
Just
what
a
it
you
is.
thing.
Yeah, thing. But there's like there's certain things where it's like I could tell you that I won't tell any other family member or any other friend. Like everybody's like that, dude. You know, but that works for me too, a lot. To be honest.
And again, some of the other things that I talked about too, right, was kind of counseling too. Finding a group session, finding an individual session of just peers. No professionals, nobody there watching you, nobody there, kind of a judgment free zone. Where men just kind of come together and speak. And I'm actually hoping to have one of those sessions with the following we currently have within the next upcoming month. Those things are in the works. So once they are locked in, I'm kind of going to announce that. We will also be looking for guests to kind of come in and share story, share things that they're going through and things of that nature. Anyone who feels vulnerable enough to share, anyone who has enough courage to kind of step up to the plate and speak
Right
to
on.
men who are afraid, you know. So
Right on. Right on.
definitely gonna be looking for men to kind of help with that and assist with that because obviously when we give others motivation to do the same, people kind of follow suit and they kind of come together and we can kind of motivate the people who currently don't have that courage to kind of step up and say, hey, I can do this thing and things of that nature. So Another tool that I find helpful as well is I keep a journal. Um, at first they started off as just random doodles and random miscellaneous thoughts throughout my day, um, and then they kind of turned into letters. They changed from letters. I titled them to my kids. Um, so dear Mark, dear Vanessa, and I kind of go from there. I kind of everything that I can't share, all of my deepest, darkest secrets are kind of jotted onto a piece of paper for my kids, so that they can understand in the future some of those silent battles that I was kind of going through. Hopefully I can offer them some guidance to kind of get out of those silent battles, and hopefully if they ever encounter those things, I can give them a resource and a tool so they can say, hey, like, I can level up on this. So another thing that I wanted to speak about was kind of encouraging people, encouraging people daily to kind of do that right thing. If you see a brother, you see a family member, you see a random stranger who is doing something good or trying really hard, it's free to motivate somebody else. It's free to,
Hell yeah,
you
bro. Hell yeah.
know, even if it's something as simple as a comment, like, "Yo, I think you're doing a great job." Oh, I really like your outfit today. Um, those things kind of make somebody's, you know, even something as simple as asking somebody how they're doing can make somebody's day. It can talk them, it can bring them back from that ledge if they're on there. So if you find yourself in a situation where you can give someone affirmation or you can give somebody like brief encouragement, I personally encourage you to do it. I personally encourage you to this week to kind of go out and ask somebody how their day was. Ask somebody how they're doing. Um, Tell somebody that they have a good outfit on. Tell a father who's struggling that they're doing a good job.
Mark, you have great
Thank
test.
you very much. I truly appreciate it. I've worked hard for this. So,
You have great movement too.
thank you very much. So with that, I kind of want to thank Jose for coming on today. I want to thank you for sharing everything that you did. I want to thank you for having enough courage to come on here. I also want to thank you
No
for the
worries.
gift that you gave me. It will truly be cherished and appreciated. Um, thank you again, man.
No
Brothers,
worries, no worries, brother. Appreciate you.
I want you guys to remember that you're not alone. You don't have to hear all those
Yeah.
things in silence. I want you to remember that this isn't a battle that you have to fight in silence. This is a platform where people can come on and people can speak as freely as they want to. And people can kind of, go from there. So I want to thank everybody who tuned in tonight. I want to thank everybody who took time out of their day, both men and women, because
Shout out to y'all.
it was amazing talking to you guys. It was amazing kind of coming out and having this conversation. And it was awesome to talk to somebody who grew up in the same neighborhood and under kind of the same circumstances that I did. So,
Same block, baby. Block, Spalding kids, baby.
so to Funhouse Mass, definitely amazing work, definitely quality work. If you ever need something custom made, you know that they are more than capable. This is a beautiful mask right here. Definitely a beautiful mask. If you want to tell the people a little bit about the mask as well, I know it's up.
Man, it's Paulie Walnuts from The Sopranos, but I made them into kind of like the Point Break style from the old '90s film with Keanu Reeves, where everybody they wear the fucking president's mask and shit, and they go to rob a bank with their surfers. Yeah, I got like a fun soprano line coming up, like in that house. So be on the lookout if you're interested. Funhouse Mask Studios, man. If you want any custom, let me know. Masks is what the fuck I know, bro. Masks and horror flicks. That's it.
Halloween around the corner. So if you find yourself in any need or find yourself again needing any custom work, whether it's for anything you can think of, man, right here can make it happen. So
I
again,
could.
to everybody who took time out of their day, it's appreciated, man. Love y'all. You guys are enough. You're doing enough, and you're trying as hard as you possibly could. You keep on striving, and you guys keep on being great, man. Love y'all.